Hey everybody, welcome to our webinar today. This is Net Worth Networking, and I'm Allison Larsen, and I'm so glad you could be here today. One of the things that I've learned that's more important than almost anything else is being able to network. And people come up to me a lot of times, they'll say, "You're really good at sales, you just rock it." And I'll be like, you know what? I'm not a salesperson, but I do love connecting with people. And I love people, and I love connecting those people with solutions. And to me, that's what networking is all about. And in my networking adventures over the past year, I was able to meet someone who is very near to and dear to me. His name is Roger Salam. Now, Roger is dear to me because he is a genuine person. He is actually, I mean, he cares about people, and he's really, really good at networking. And that's one of the things that he does. And he goes around the world, he meets people, and he connects them with solutions. Roger has been in real estate, helps lead humanitarian trips to many different places. Bangladesh is where he grew up, and he does speaker tours there too. So Roger and I recently were actually at an event in Beverly Hills called the Sing Event, where there was some of our friends. Ann Washburn was there, David Fagan. We were able to connect with people like Walter O'Brien, and there were just some amazing people there, weren't there, Roger?
Incredible.
Yeah, incredible. So anyway, without too much further ado, I want to turn the time over to Roger. He is going to give you some tips on networking, and please pay attention to him, because if you want to grow your business, if you're wanting to help people change their lives, you have to know how to connect with them. Roger's one of the best connectors I know. So Roger, I'm going to let you take it away, and then we'll open it up for some questions here at the end. So are you there,
Wonderful.
Roger?
All right, I'm here. You can hear me, right, Allison?
Yeah, sounds great.
Awesome. So first of all, Allison, thank you. I really, this is one of my favorite topics. So you got me all fired up when you said, please talk about networking. And so I'm going to talk about networking and relationship because that's the reason you're doing it. I'm going to skip about myself. So these days, you just Google me, you can find out all about me. But whole thing is, the point is it's not about me. It's about you. And when we're talking about in context of networking, it's always about what you can do. So one request I have, to make sure that you get the most out of this presentation, turn off that little voice inside of you that says, I know. I know is the killer of learning. And it's not that I'm going to give you some earth-shattering information here that I have discovered, for the first time, gravity kind of thing. For most of you, it's the champions. It's not what we don't know. It's what we forgot or stopped doing. It reminds us of all of those from that side. So, but if you just say that I know, then it turns up the learning, because it has happened to all of us, and Allison, myself, and everyone else, is that you listen to something, read a book, or listen to an audio for the third, fourth, fifth time, and you find something completely new that you didn't find before. So why is that? It's because there's a statement in personal development. We say that the teacher will appear only when the student is ready. So the first few times you are not ready to listen to that particular message, and you are ready the fourth time, and that's when also that message went in. So listen with an open mind. And my definition of knowing is this: to know and not to do is not to know. It's a Zen proverb. So the things that I'm sharing with you, relatively simple. However, if you're not acting on it, you need to listen to it again and again and again until you've internalized it and it has become a second nature to you. And you do it almost in your sleep. So this is my other philosophy, is nothing that you probably, if Jesus Christ himself came down, or Muhammad or Buddha came down, won't be able to satisfy everyone on this planet. So take the best and leave the rest. Whatever resonates with you, I love the word resonate. If it resonates with you, take it. And if it doesn't, don't invalidate everything because you didn't like one thing. Take the best and leave the rest. So let's get on. And here's the foundation, by the way, that because the presentation, Allison so eloquently titled that this is net worth networking. So if you want, with the goal of increasing your net worth through this networking, but the foundation of everything that I'm going to be talking about it presupposes this foundational principle is that when you truly give others without any expectations of or strings attached, you'll receive much more than you've ever have expected. So keep that in mind as I'm sharing with you. Instead of using this as a technique, really, those just a process. My philosophy every day, my morning creed, is to build true confidence through knowledge in the mind, honesty in the heart, and strength in the body, to keep friendship with one another, and to build a strong and happy community. Never fight to achieve selfish ends, but to develop mindful right. One of my mentors, Grandmaster Jun Rhee, gave me this creed in 1991 when I first met him at Tony Robbins' Mastery University, or back then used to call certification. And he gave me this creed and I fell in love with it. And ever since I've been using it and sharing with my students, because every word, every line here means something to me. That's what I strive to be every single day. And I say that, networking is easy. Personal development is hard. And so once you become the kind of person, and this is what I strive to be on a daily basis. So what is networking? Let's get into the meat of it so that very little time that we have. Obviously, these people have written volumes about this topic, but just on a very scope of what is that we're doing, that networking is a socioeconomic business activity by which business people and entrepreneurs meet to form business relationships and to recognize, create, or act upon business opportunities, share information, and seek potential partners for ventures. So this is almost like a dictionary definition of networking. This is a wiki definition of networking. But this is what you get if you want to go to college or university or take a book about it. I'm going to bring it down more reality, because what Allison and I do is we don't memorize these dictionary definitions of networking, but we need to know what it is so that the scope of it is. It is not networking is typically the word started in the literally whatchamacallit, in the computer networking, not anything else, in the computer networking world. So then when two and more computers are connected, that's when they're networked. So in the mid-19th century, networking was being promoted to the business community to do one thing. And like the networks, computers connect so that people can connect also. So that's an art. And then that art today is almost becoming a science. There is a method to the madness of connecting to this whole process of networking, why some people are better than others in this particular field. But before you get into networking, know that yes, it is a numbers game, but every number matters. Let me repeat that. It is a numbers game. When it comes to networking, really, bigger is better. The bigger your database, the more influential you'll be. But every number matters. Care deeply. And this is something that when people used to come to my presentation and they copy the presentation and then they go out. I'm referring to that during my days with Tony Robbins. I was his former number one speaker and trainer, and I would, in the same amount of time that if I would go present, my results would be 5 times, not double, triple, quadruple, 4 or 5 times higher than the average person. And they would really literally come to my presentation to find out what is it that I'm doing that's giving me such extraordinary results. And they'll copy it and then they'll go present the same exact way, but it's not giving them the same result. So it has to be more than just the words and PowerPoints and stuff when they were presenting. It's because one day Tony's incredibly perceptive. He just told the crowd that, while you guys are selling, Roger is connecting. And because he cares deeply. I never go there to sell. I went there to make a difference. So when you care deeply, things happen and people will come to you. And like anything else I talk about, anything you want in life, make it a study first. Not read, study. There's a difference. Reading is just check with checklist, been there, done that. So when you study, you internalize it. You want to become good at networking, you want to see, you know, like magic and networking at work, watch Allison, how she works. And because we come from the same thing, is that they care deeply, and then that's not enough, care deeply, meaning that's a trade, but you need to also now learn the techniques and all this other stuff to make it better. And prepare questions. I am big on this. I wrote a book on uh, questions, because the quality of your life is the quality of the questions that you ask yourself and others on a regular. The quality of your life is the quality of the questions that you ask yourself and others on a regular basis. And I find everywhere, just this networking game, the better prepared you are, quality questions and unusual questions, the more you'll be able to do this. And I don't have the time to get into, all the nitty-gritty of it, but I'm going to give you the principles of it. One of my favorite author is Harvey Mackay. As Allison was mentioning, we were just in Beverly Hills, and he is the absolute master. He is my mentor when it comes to networking. If you haven't picked up any of his book yet, please. He wrote a book. His first it's called now, it's a Rolodex, and dig your well before you're thirsty. This is well worth this one thing. This principle is, if you want to start increase your net worth through your network, then begin networking now, before you're thirsty, before you need them. Start building the relationship. Not you and I both know how you feel. If you haven't talked to someone in a long time, and they've not done anything, and then all of a sudden they call. Why? Because they need something. And that's not a good feeling, versus somebody who's been giving to you and helped you. When they call, we can't wait to share them. And one of the things that Harvey Mackay in Beverly Hills, at this meeting, he was sharing that when his father gave him an advice at age 18, and he said, when somebody puts their hand in front of you, you're about to shake, ask yourself, in your mind, that the first question will be, what can I do for you? How can I serve you, is the question that should go through your mind. And Harvey said something even more profound. He said, that's where my father was, but I took it to another level. And that level is when I ask, how can I help? What can I do for you? How may I serve you? And the second part of it that he took it to another level is, and not expect anything in return. Not now, not tomorrow, not ever. And if you want to follow, look at someone before you take their advice. Look at where they are. If you don't want their lifestyle, if you want what they have accomplished, if you don't want any one of it, then you can leave them. But what an incredible life that he has had, and every time I meet him, I'm just more awe. And so this is the foundational thing for doing it. And another friend of mine, Joe Sweeney, wrote a book called Networking is a Contact Sport. Networking is a contact sport. Pick up that copy of that book also. He is a master networker, and he's an investment banker. And so he just built his career out of networking, and why it's a contact sport. And you cannot just have a network and not contact them, and only contact them on when you need them. So this is a couple of resources that I shared with you. But the question you ask before you anything else, one of the things that I get, and I take it as a compliment, is when my students always tell me that, hey, I not only teach them the what and the how, but more importantly, the why. Because you begin with why. Why do you want to do with what is it that you're doing? And I believe that there's only one reason that I do and network, and why Allison and I go event after event and do the network, is to build one thing, what I call build social capital. We want to build social capital. And you think financial, most people think the financial capital is what matters. More powerful than financial capital is social capital. And there's a method to the madness of building social capital because these are not everyday words that you use. People are doing fundraising. They're not raising social capital. They're raising monetary capital. So, how do you build social capital? How do you build social capital? It's when you meet someone, when we're talking about networking, and most it's not just names and contact info. So that's now where I'm going to give you some a little bit of runway level. And so far, I've been on a 50,000 foot overview, and because of this short time, I'm going to so that you get something practical. The time that you've shared with me this morning, I want to make sure that you get some tangible things also, not just philosophical. So the network, if you just have a database, if everybody these days have a network in terms of their mobile phone, because all the people you have on your cell phone, and literally you'll have hundreds and thousands of people on your network and on your phone, and also on your, of course, database if you are a professional from that perspective. But if they're just names and numbers, then you've never built a network. So one of the things that I do first thing is a technique is when you get somebody's business card, like all the people that I met in Beverly Hills, on my phone, when I've entered their name, contact info before because while I'm there, I don't have my laptop, I don't have everything. I create the notes. And one of the things I always write down is where and when I met them. Just on the back of the business card, or I these days put it straight. I don't even take business cards anymore. I just put it straight into my phone, so I can easily transfer things from that side. But what do you need besides that to really build a social capital when you want, instead of just a network? You need to know and their specialty. You need to know their strengths and weaknesses. Why do you need to know their weaknesses also? It's because this is how you build. If you find out that they're weak at something, that's when you look out for them. They're weak at this thing, and then you help them with an article. Hey, I just saw this and thought of you. You wanted some get better at this. Here, this will help you. So those are the things. Instead of just calling them, and when you know their strengths, and then someone is looking for that particular, they're weak on that, then you connect them with this person. That hey, she is so good at that. Please connect with this person for help. You need to know their interest, their family background, their hobbies, and of course, you also need to know their accomplishments, that who they are, and that will generate your respect. So these days are so simple. You can create fields on your phone. You can Google it, any CRM. You don't need a sophisticated CRM solution to do these things. And we use, as information marketers, we use the database called Infusionsoft. If you need Infusionsoft, go to Infusionsoft.com or send information to me, and I can connect you. I've been using Infusionsoft literally since the mid 2000, and now we paid 10 times more. It was, I think, $5,000 or $10,000. It was $10,000, and I put just to get started, get set up. Setup fee was $10,000, and I was at a seminar for $5,000, and I was one of the first ones I remember to run back to the room, put my $5,000. I got wow, that's I've been just intuitive keeping it on paper records. Now they have the most sophisticated with tagging system for doing that. So if this is simple ways you want to get started tomorrow as a professional networker to build social capital, then you need not just names and contact. In order to build social capital, you need all these other things. That what is their specialty, and all these things that I just quickly mentioned. And and let me ask you also the other question: that how do you become a better networker? How do you become a better networker? I'm going to give you 4 points. I'm going to give you what I call my 4 A's. 4 A's is ask. First, again, this is ask means the ask not just ask does not mean badger. Ask means ask intelligently. Ask better in better ways. And then ask until. You'll get anything you want if you ask until, and in the process you ask intelligently instead of turning people off. And as I mentioned earlier, that the quality of your life is the quality of the questions that you ask yourself and others on a regular basis. So if you want to become a better networker, become a better asker of questions to uncover. Instead of, you and I, when you meet somebody, first thing, hey, what do you do? What do you do? And instead of what do you do, I ask a question that what are you most passionate about right now? What project are you working on right now? Another question I ask is, what is your primary focus now? So these instead of just asking, what do you do? It's almost the same question, but now their answers are very different. They have to not just say that I'm an attorney. I ask that, what are you most passionate about right now? What project are you doing that is really kind of floating your boat right now? And so I find that the answers to the same thing is, hey, I'm working on a case right now of defending the rights of this indigenous people. I am just so I mean, this is from an attorney. So if you've elicited their passion, and all of a sudden it told me about who they are as a person, that they're fighting for the rights for this indigenous people, and for a recent networking. So you ask somebody in a different way. So they're also going, everybody asked me, what is it that you do? And she asked me, what are you most passionate about in life? What project? What is your primary focus right now? What are you focused on? They could, I'm an attorney, but right now I'm focused on building a bingo blank. And then now, instead of, you can talk about that. And once you ask, then actively listen is my second A. Not just listen, actively listen. And I was just at a meeting, and I'm not gonna. This gentleman was becoming my business partner in a business venture, and he was drunk, and he was sharing. And drunk, what I call is he was drinking. Drunk is an overstatement. He was being very, very lucid, and he had some liquid courage, and he was sharing things. And I was actively listening. He was sharing his deepest, darkest secret, almost that he probably otherwise wouldn't have shared. And I now, when I shared back 2 days later, 3 days later, that, hey, you know what? And he was deeply touched that I remembered everything, because he shared about his daughters. He shared about what matters to him beyond business. And that impressed me more than anything else. And today, he is, I'm talking about just writing a check for this business venture. Did not ask me for one dime. He says, I will fund the whole thing. And I'm not exaggerating. This just happened. It's because I was not attached. I didn't go there with that intention. It just developed. And it was just from a business lead. And by the way, that lead also came at another meeting that you're going to get a chance to, earlier this year. Allison and I both, our dearest friend David Fagan, and I was at his event where I met this gentleman for the first time and built a relationship very quickly. And act now, meaning my third A is fortune is in follow-up. Fortune is in follow-up. So that when you're doing the networking, I'm listening for, and when they're talking, in my back of my mind, I'm thinking that, how can I serve this person? And the question I ask myself more often, how can I add value to this relationship? What can I do for him that will add value to him? And then I'm just doing things. My computer, my brain is just racking, searching that, oh, I need to connect this person with this. I need to send him this. I need to do this for them. And then act now, follow up. And finally, and receive. And receive. But here is a very, very tricky part of that receive. The receive, it's rare that the same person that you give is the person that gives you back. It's the universal hand that'll give you back. And so you're doing good over here, all of a sudden you get something good happens to you. If you keep doing good, good will happen to you. And if you keep saying that, hey, I've given to this person, and I've given so much, and he or she has never given back to me, then that was not giving to begin with if you were expecting something in return. That was a business transaction. And nothing wrong with that, but then don't call it giving. So to graciously receive is an expression of the dignity of giving. And receiving is also not an easy art for people to receive graciously. And you keep doing it, and those people that say that they give but never receive, it's like saying that you can only inhale and not exhale. Or you can only exhale and not inhale. You cannot. It is the universal law. You cannot violate that if you give and you're not receiving. So how do you build, I went backwards. So here's the thing that I'm gonna take it to a notch higher. That if you want to know the nuts and bolts, so to say, of networking, there are zillions of things you can Google and books written about that. But I'm going to share with you what Allison and I do. It's relationship capital. That we raise the networking. Networking is a beginning step. Without networking, obviously, you cannot get to the second step, which is the relationship. So networking is the entry path. And then the real thing that I do is not networking. I build relationships. And I believe the most powerful capital is the relationship capital, because in the end of your life, this is what I believe, is that the quality of your life will end up being the quality of your relationships. And if you are sitting in front of me and I'm asking you this question, how many of you believe that the quality of your life is the quality of your relationships? 100% of the hands go up. Because truly, that's what we are after. And so if we're after this relationships, and then am I not using Infusionsoft? Am I not using all the high-tech gadgets, best of the apps and everything to build? Yes. But what I do that makes me different from all the others, my primary focus is I don't manage leads and funnels. I manage friendships and relationships. I use those as a tool because the volume, you cannot keep thousands of people in your mind. You cannot categorize thousands of people in your mind. Maybe there are some superhumans who could. So I use those tools, but my goal is not to manage. Most people manage their leads and their funnels. I manage friendships and relationships, and that has made all the difference in the world. All the difference in the world. And in a practical sense, let me give you a case study. And a case study of building relationships versus networking. And many people network. And I was in the middle of acquiring. This is a 38,000 square foot mansion that my Winner Circle events was being held at this place. This is the largest home in public records in where I live in the Tampa Bay. And how did it come about is not from networking. It began with networking, but it came about the result from building relationship. And how? It's anything good and great that has happened to my life, anything good and great that has happened to my life that I can not indirectly, directly attribute since 2007 is forming my mastermind group called the Winner Circle. And you can see the logo on the left-hand corner. The Winner Circle is an invitation-only mastermind group for, lack of a better word, gurus or people who are subject matter experts, people who are, you know, authors, speakers, successful entrepreneurs. They have mastered something in life. They've done above average. So those are the people that I invite to mastermind with me. And I will talk about this another time on the details of that. But and one of my members, so anything good and great that has happened to me is a direct, not indirect result of my mastermind. It's this is what I mean by that, is that everything has come. Allison has come to my life because of my relationship with David Fagan, because he is a platinum member of my mastermind. And so whenever he has events, I go and I meet Allison. And then when I have event, David comes, and you'll hear David talk about that. I probably single-handedly has given him over seven-figure business, me personally, and just one-on-one relationship. And so one of my members was selling this house at the best time to sell a house, which was 2008. And if those of you know what happened in 2008 to the housing market, and so they couldn't sell, they were trying to fractionalize this white elephant. So fractionalize is meaning that kind of a timeshare, kind of a sell it as to multiple owners that we all can use, have this thing. So he said, I was doing my mastermind at my other house, which is a 6,000 square foot house on the water, beautiful, nothing, on the Tampa Bay, no question, but not a 38,000 square foot mansion. So I was doing it here. And then he said, why don't you come and take a look at it? So I went there to look at it. The second biggest house on this same complex was on the market for $25 million. And this house, and that was 25,000 square foot. And this is 38,000 square foot. There's a basketball court on the second floor. I'm talking about a parquet, full-fledged basketball court with bleachers and electronic scoreboard in the house. I mean, there could be a harp concert in one wing and a professional basketball game. The one would know that the other is happening, no soundproofing. And so, incredible place. I went there and I realized that I'm not even in the same league as this guy. So I went to him and I said, listen, and I exactly said, I know, I don't want to even pretend that I've come here to look at that I can buy this house. But I know people, if your intention is to sell this house, I can perhaps help. The first question you ask, are you a real estate broker? Are you an agent? How will I compensate? I said, stop. I said, I don't want any compensation. If you want to give me something, what I want to know is what the heck do you do in order to own a home like this? And that, he started laughing, and that started the relationship. I said, may I have the privilege of taking you out to lunch? I have taken him to breakfast, lunch, dinner, coffee. Oh, he doesn't drink coffee. And just if we would sit there and have herb tea or something. But and I would ask him, I literally would bring people to the house and to show them the house. When they will go to see the house, I will go sit in his office. Oh, there's an incredible, his and hers office. His office is mahogany and with bookshelves and huge, better than any office I had. His private office, I would sit there, and I have to this day, I have a special journal that I created just for him. The question, and I would sit there and ask questions while they're touring the house, because I know it's going to take a while for them to look at the house. And questions I would ask, like, what will be your legacy? what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? I know you have all, you're wealthy and stuff. And by the way, this is not his net worth. This is not his income. This is in one single year. His personal income tax was $110 million. That's what he paid in income tax. So I'm asking, will you come and speak to my group? I have a small group of very highly successful people, nowhere in your league, but they're very successful by no less. And he goes, no, no, I don't speak. He's a very private person. He's a behind-the-scenes guy. He's an M&A guy, mergers and acquisitions. He used to buy billion-dollar companies and then acquire them and then sell them, fix them and sell them. That's what he used to do, and or divide them and find the most profitable parts. Basically, add value to the company and then raise their stock, and that's how you make money. So he would not speak. Finally, one day, and I said, "Will you have you written a book?" He says, "No." I mean, he's a Stanford undergrad, Harvard MBA, studied law, Vietnam vet, and he hasn't. So I'm going, why wouldn't you? Do you want to take all this knowledge to the grave? How are you going to, you have done well, but the knowledge that you have, why wouldn't you make that your legacy to help others? And he's go, you know what? Well, it's okay. And he's like, no, I have two sons. I'm imparting all my knowledge. I'm gonna leave my legacy through them. I said, would you like to adopt a third? And I sat there and asked questions. Same question. I never ever asked him for a dime. But through this process of building relationship, long story short, well, hopefully one day we meet and I'll tell you more details, because it didn't happen in one day. That took 6 months. It took 6 months, and then finally over a year. And I did not acquire the house because I told him that I cannot afford this house. One day he called me and said, hey, remember that mastermind that you do? And by this time he has been to my place and been to one of my masterminds. I said, what if you could do those masterminds here? And I said, what if you could buy this house? I said, wow, I told you I can't afford it. He goes, don't worry about that. What if I own or finance? I said, what? You're willing to? He goes, don't worry about that. I said, if you're willing to own or finance, and I mean, definitely, but I want you to be very clear. I don't want this house for me. This house, whatever the payment is, whatever my business must be able to afford it. And that's it. And if you can work it out, and I'm an open book. And it's a game changer when they come to you versus me negotiating, trying to buy this house. Imagine me trying to go, I'm going to try to do a no money down deal, and although I'm going to, no, it's not going to work. He'll chew me out. But that's how it started. So, and this, to this day, by the way, and a guy like that, every year, my flagship event, at the end of the year, I take about 100 thought leaders of top-level people, and I go on a mastermind at sea cruise. And this year is my 9th annual invitation-only mastermind event, and the last time he was there was in 2012, I believe, and he went to hasn't been there, and he moved out of the U.S. and retired in St. Kitts in one of the Caribbean islands, but he's not retired. He's busier than ever in his life. And guess what? He's going to join me. I've asked him, would you, I couldn't pay him. Imagine trying to pay him to come to speak. He's not charging me anything. Why is he coming and spending days with me and this 99 other people? Is because of my relationship, of the things that I have done for him. And so the relationship capital. And he comes because he likes to fund deals. And imagine people like you and me, we're needing funds to grow. And of course, he invested in my company when we got started and stuff. And my office, literally, I moved into his office because he was helping me. And when 2012, when he retired, and then of course, and now he's back. So I'm so excited that he's going to be joining me on this year's Mastermind Cruise in December. So we'll talk about it. I don't have the time, but this is Nobel laureate Professor Muhammad Yunus. I'm originally from Bangladesh, and now I'll tell you later on, I'm doing a course with him. I'm building his home study course on social entrepreneurship. It's such an honor to have that privilege of doing that with him. So imagine by association, where does it take me? That if I'm co-authoring something with a Nobel laureate, and it did not happen overnight, and I just literally this year, what Allison was referring to, I went to Bangladesh and I met his executive director, and then we just inked the whole agreement and stuff, working on it. It is not done yet, but just on principle, we agreed that we want to do something. So we'll talk about it another day. But let me tell you today, the number one principle for building quality relationship is, if you remember, we said that a network is not just names and contact info. That's not network. If you want them to build social capital, because that's what you want to do, then you need to build relationship. And the number one principle for building relationship, again, I'm almost afraid to give it to you because you're going to say it's so simple. It's so simple. But take that warning that I know of. Get into the relationship to give, not to get. Get into the relationship to give, not to get. Because the getting part is automatic if you focus on giving with no strings attached, with nothing. Don't expect anything. If you are doing that, then do a business transaction. Don't call it giving. Don't call it giving. And so don't confuse the two. And since I've given you the biggest principle, let me also give you the biggest mistake that people do in building relationships. And I don't have time to do all the things, but principle one of building and principle biggest mistake in building a relationship is don't rush relationships. I put it in red so that let it be a warning. Don't rush relationships. And here's the thing. Different trees take different times, different kind of, taking care of for that fruit to bear or the flowers to bloom. And so it's not people come to my mastermind for years and I haven't done anything with them. Then one day when the timing is right for both of us, and then we start doing something. But until then, keep adding value. Don't chase contacts. Don't chase leads. Don't chase joint ventures. Develop relationships over time. Some will, the first meeting, and they'll do something. Others will take 10, 12 meetings, and you meet at here, and you keep the different events, and one day you go. Look at it, even with Allison here, that we're starting to do these things together because she and I have seen over and over again, and David has connected us from the very beginning, but we saw. And then I saw the kind of person she is at a different event because she's the same person. And and people want to know that you're the same. You're not being nice because you want something. When you're not getting anything, there's nothing to get, they're still being nice because you perhaps in a business setting, they told you that they're not in a position to do business with you, but you're still being nice because that's who you are at the core. And then develop. Allison has now her TV show, her TV show, and all the things behind. I'm seeing all the act, how much she herself is carrying the weight, while others are not. And then the cream will always rise to the top, and then I get a phone call and said, hey, we want to do something. And it's my pleasure to do business with people like that. So I'm going to finish today with very simple 7 steps to building quality relationships. And I gave you an example, and hopefully it'll reflect. So the first step in building a quality relationships is be real. Be real. Don't pretend to be someone you're not. That does not mean being real is that if you're broke and then you go around telling people you're broke. That's not by being real. That's not your true authentic. Being broke is not who you are. So don't go by confused. Being real is, oh, I told him I'm broke. I pretend to be, I'm a millionaire. No, yes, you act from your, and that's another topic. It's specialized knowledge. is what will earn you. What I mean by being real is that if you somebody has taken you with my mentor that I talked about when I took him to the mansion, I don't want to waste his time. Right there, said this is who I am. I'm not, I'm well, but that's not who I am. For the fact that I was real to him is, and I was transparent, is the one that he. And then later on, by the way, he told me that many people that I brought there that I thought were able, and he knew because he has ways to find out he's in a different league. He goes, no, that guy came in, he rented the Rolls Royce to come here to just to impress me. He doesn't have money. Kind of that's what I mean by the pretend that there was no relationship to begin with. So be real. Number two, be interested, not interesting. And I sat there in front of my mentor and asked questions after questions after questions. And someday there's a book in it just from the lessons that I learned from him. You do not make. Um, there was a time, literally, he said he was making $1 million a day. And people are very funny. I'll tell you a funny story. Uh, these people are very eccentric. But now he does not even fly first class. He says, and I'm like, what? I said, but Paul, you own at 7 jets. And he goes, no, that's at one point. He goes, no, but that's completely different. I said, what do you mean it's completely different? Because that's not flying first. That's a necessary tool for my business because I couldn't have accomplished what I did without a personal jet. He lived in Tampa, and his office was in New York City. Every morning, he would literally get by 2 hours flight, less than 2 hours in a jet. He's there in New York. He would do office, and I said, how do you justify that? He goes, you know what? My jet was costing me about $500,000 to maintain. And I thought that, this jet, I was making $1 million a day. And I thought, you know what? In half a day, I already paid for this tool. So that's how I justified it. But if I'm just flying first class, and when I can, because first class is like literally, and I fly Emirates, and Emirates, a round trip economy ticket would be like $1,500 at most, and business class would be about 10,000. First class is about 20,000. So look at the difference. When you can for $1,500 to 20,000, he goes, I can't justify 20,000. And so they're very eccentric. So be interested. And so because I was interested, and he started explaining to me why, and I said, oh, that makes sense. Be a value adder. Some of these things are very self-explanatory. And let me also look at my time. So, all right, I'm just about perfect. Be a value adder. Show up on time. And some of these things are so important in terms of that when you're building relationships, showing up on time, it's not, I'm talking about punctuality, that there are things that happen. It shows you respect their time. I don't expect to be professional, but if you're going to be late, you call. You don't, let people know. And what I find is that people who are late, they're habitually late. They're not on all the time. Do what you say you will do. So that if you say something, it's as good as done. Become the kind of person that somebody said that when you go to the bank for a loan, and then you put on the left side your asset column and their liability column, that they become the kind of person that they'll put you on the asset column, that I know so-and-so, that you go in as an asset. Become the kind of person that you get a phone call from people that I want to be, request you to be on my board of advisor, my board of directors. People, you don't see an ad for a board of advisors, board of directors. You get a personal phone call. And so become that kind of person that generates that call inward. Finish what you started. It is so simple. If you want to build relationship, finish what you started with them. And number 7, say please and thank you. That's another thing. So that's so simple. 7 steps to build quality relationships. And that one thing about that say please and thank you, it's not that you don't say please and not that you don't say thank you and not that you don't mean it either. I'm talking about show, to go an extra step. And one thing that I will give you right now that will show that is one, write a personal handwritten thank you note. And it was thank you. It was indeed a pleasure meeting you. I want you to know that, you know, quality blended with excellent follow-up is the foundation of a perfect, you know, relationship. I look forward to, you know, find ways to add value to you. In the meantime, if I can be of, please find this blank attached. Folks, if I can give any further assistance, please don't hesitate to call me. Sincerely, you. And one of the things I always write, thank you. It was indeed a pleasure meeting you. And my thank you is for the time that we shared. In today's business world, time is precious. Time is precious. You can rest assured that I will always be respectful of the time you invest as we explore mutually beneficial opportunities, or as we build a relationship, as we, whatever you want to add there. So if you write a personal handwritten thank you note, especially in this digital age when people are texting thank you and writing, emailing thank you, it is not the same as you buying a card. And that's a whole book that I've written. That's one of my, you know, most favorite topic and keynote I do. When I talk about this one topic on thank you, there's not a dry eye in the audience, because of the stories that I tell on what has happened when on the other end people receive a heartfelt thank you note. So nothing is good enough. I'm almost at the end of my hour, and that this is all well and good, a nice talk, but if you don't act. So what I'm going to do for your action items is this. Take the networking quiz. And what I mean by that, you cannot give anybody any directions unless they tell you where you are. Can you imagine asking anybody, said, hey, I want to go so-and-so place, and it starts with, where are you now? Because without knowing where are you now, you cannot get to where you want to go. So networking, like any muscle, is you want to become good at it, then you need to work at it. And so how good of a networker you are right now. And take the networking quiz. And where did I get the quiz? My mentor, Harvey McKay, the master of master networkers. He has a networking quiz, and you can find it in his book, but I will also give you my email at the end, that if you want that quiz from me, send me an email. And I so want to, and I went through rather fast. So one other gift that I'm going to share with you for sharing with me this morning is, because I went through the slides pretty fast. So if you you couldn't take notes fast enough, if you want a copy of my slides, I will send you my slides. And also when you email me, and I will send you the networking quiz. Once you do the networking quiz, you know where you are, then become better and start networking database right now. It's like, when is the best time? When is the best time to start? Yesterday. See, if you didn't start, when is the next best time to start? Which is today. So get started today, your networking database. And by networking database, I mean have a database that not only has names and contact. If you want, those are just, you know, for sending them information. If you want to build social capital, which is the reason why you are doing this, you're interested in this, then you need to have the relationship skills. And that begins with having all of those 5 things that I shared with you. Find out, always write down where and how you met them. Years from now, that'll come in handy. And then number 2, their specialty. What is their specialty? Their strengths and weaknesses, and then their hobbies, family background, interests, and then their accomplishments. So get started with right now. And if you need a database, if you want Infusionsoft, I can send you a link also for Infusionsoft to get started. I think they give you a special deal. And finally, register for one high-level networking event to practice your newfound networking desire. And hopefully, you should go to the one that Allison is going so that you can see a master networker, how she is. People, she brings people that funny people follow her from Ohio to different events that she goes to see how she networks in such a short period of time, how she can build relationships. And it doesn't take that long if you know what you're doing, if you add value, if you make a difference. And you probably heard the statement that you meet somebody, they go, and you talk, and then at the end they go, I feel like we've known each other for years. That's because you've made a connection. So make that connection. Register whatever that event is. Make it, I don't care what it is, but a high-level networking event where you'll find quality people. Because I believe who you associate with and listen to will determine your destiny. Let me repeat. Who you associate with and listen to will determine your destiny. And if you truly believe that, then why not live your life by design so that you meet constantly and associate with high-level people instead of by accident here and there. And quite frankly, that's the selfish reason why I created the Winner Circle. Can you imagine? I just pinch myself sometimes that these people come and meet with me on a regular basis, and then on my annual cruise, this 100 people come together, and that's from one place. I do so much business. One gentleman came on the cruise last year, and I spoke from that one relationship. I've spoken in a different country every single month of this year until last month. This month I'm speaking I don't have any overseas speaking engagement, but I'm from January till now. Every month I have done, and he is coming again. Very successful internet marketer, and he's going to be on this year's cruise, and he's going to bring 15 to 20 of his top people, and that is out of literally hundreds of thousands of affiliates he's bringing, and as an award for the top 10 or 15 people, I think I forget what they have a lot of criteria to meet. So when you have good people together in a room, great things happen, especially when it's orchestrated. And that's what I am good at, is creating the environment and orchestrate and put processes in place that magic happens. So if I believe that achieving success while serving others is the greatest achievement. And one such event, how may I serve you? If that resonates with you, what I shared with you is my 9th annual invitation-only mastermind program. I call Mastermind at Sea. The international, you can go to the internationalwinnercircle.com, and under events, you'll see the 9th annual invitation program. And then this is literally, I mean, if I have to sell you on this, then you're not ready. This is truly an invitation-only event. Go there, take a look at it. If this is something that resonates you, that I have something special every month, it goes up, and it's a $10,000 per person event, but we're having a very, very, very special event right now with this special code of Winner 50. And as a matter of fact, let me quickly take you there so that you'll see what you'll get when you go over there. And I'll internationalwinnercircle.com. You can go right on the home page. You'll if you just scroll down, you'll see over here, or you can go to the events page. 9th annual Thought Leader Mastermind at Sea, December 11th through the 18th. And this is, we're limited, as I said, the reason I keep it to 100 people, so it's an intimate. This is one event where I allow people, my members and invited guests, to bring their spouses and children into to this event because I also now started doing a teen event. So if you have children, please imagine all the things you and I know. If we get them started now on this habit, oh my God, what'll happen to their life? And so, and how to work smart and less. I'm not going to go through this as an invitation and then itinerary. And you can go to the tab for reserve today. And if you click on uh, uh, register, it'll take you to the page of the registration, and then you decide. These are all prices are per person. So when I say it's $10,000, it's book your cabin per person. Is you should, if you come by yourself, then I will match you with one of my other invited guest or members, and it's female to female or male to male, and that's my job. But if you want to bring your husband and spouse, then you take two, or if you have children, one child, it's tripled or quad, or there are few solo cabins also. That's just double. So whichever you want, and you just click on that, and then you put your name over here. Don't worry about the, and these are all priced for the boardwalk balcony. And this year we're taking the, whatchamacallit, the Oasis, which is the world's largest and a phenomenal, it's an architectural marvel. Normally I go for 4 days to 5 days max. This is my ninth year. This is the first year ever I'm taking the 8-day program because this kind of quality ships, they do not put it into the lower number of days events, cruises. So the only way, and so this year it's truly going to be a vacation plus mastermind. So other times when we have 4 days, it's incredibly compact, rush, rush, rush. What we do here, this time we have 8 days, and this is where you get a chance to build relationships, not just network. And things happen. I've seen over the years that you'll see some testimonials that deals that don't happen on land happens at sea. Maybe it's a mixture of pina colada and the wave or some magic that happens. The people let their hair down. We're all having a good time and doing business. You know, I told Kevin Harrington, Laura Langmeyer, David Fagan, and of course Allison, and we're all going to be there this year. And if just put your name over here and your date of birth, so let's say it's Roger Salam, and comma, and put just here, put the date of birth, and then just, if you're going, and add to cart, it'll take you to the site, and then you put the winner 50 and apply, and this is for 2 people. So I am absolutely giving the rock bottom, take it, and for the event, for checkout for you, for the double occupancy, and then it'll take you to the basically checkout page for the billing for doing that. So I just took you through, and of course, all of these, if you want more information, literally about the details, itinerary, you click on the itinerary tab, you'll see day 1, day 2, where we're going, and then if you want to go, who should attend, all the different tabs, just basically the investment, top 10 reasons. As I said, if I have to sell you, you're not ready. Every year I get phone calls in December that, hey, I want to go. It's too late. It's too late because it is sold out every single year. So if this resonates with you, I'm going to open up for question and answer, and Allison might have some few goodies to share with you and bonuses to give you. So Allison, are you there still?
I'm here, Roger. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can certainly hear you. I apologize. I went a few minutes over.
That's all right. I was loving it. I love the information that you gave. And you know what? Even more importantly, Roger, thank you for all the great things you said about me. And I really appreciate that. And everybody, you really can learn from Roger. If, what it comes down to is you aren't going to be able to reach people unless you have people to reach. And that's what networking is all about. And that's why Roger and I connected, because we really do love people. And I really admire you, Roger. Thank you so much for all you shared. I have a real quick story I want to share. Type in your questions in the chat box while I'm sharing the story, and then I have some freebies to give away, and I have something that I want to add on to your cruise too, Roger. So a couple of, well, let me start with the story. So this has to go with networking. I was on a plane traveling to an event a while ago, or no, I was coming home from an event, and I sat next to a lady on the plane. And I always bring some books with me, some of my books, and just as I feel impressed, I give them out to people. And I'm sitting next to this lady, and we get talking, and she works for the Bureau of Land Management here in Idaho. She's kind of a corporate job, but she's wanting to improve her life and change some things. And I thought, well, she's not really ever going to become a client of mine. She's not, going to buy my program or come to my event. But I thought, I love what she's saying. She's a great lady, and I just want to give her a book. And this is where it comes in, Roger, as you were saying, be in the relationship to give. And so I gifted her a book. And I didn't hear from her for a couple of months. And then a while ago, I got a phone call from this lady, and she said, you know what? I read your book. I was so impressed. I've since been promoted in my job, and I'm in charge of a corporate training, and we have a budget for it. Can I pay you to come and speak and train at my corporate training? And it was such an honor. The best thing was hearing about how her life's changed from reading the book, but then also to know that, networking really is about building relationships. And I truly believe that, that in that give and receive and in that law of attraction, and if you are caring about somebody, if you have their best interest in mind, then you're going to be taken care of as well, and you'll be able to get your message out to the world. So in order to get your message out to the world, of course, you need events to go to. So the networking cruise, like Roger said, that's for those of you who are really ready to play big, who are ready to grow your business and ready to make some serious connections. I've been able to make some of those bigger connections and connections with people that have a larger circle of influence over the past few months, and it really has helped me to share my message with the world. Now, there are some other events coming up too. I want to gift a ticket to these events to you. Tickets value for both events is around $1,500. But I want to gift these to you. It is really about giving, and these will both be great events to practice your networking skills at. So if you are on this webinar, you are going to get an email talking to you about 2 upcoming events. And they're going to have a link where you can check the events out. If you want a free ticket to that event, I need you to email me back, and I will send you that link. You can text me if you have my number to contact me in some way, and I would be glad to gift you a ticket. One event is an event Roger and I will be at in just a couple of weeks down in Las Vegas, an author's event. And then the other event is an event that I'm putting on in Salt Lake City. I'm bringing in some big speakers like Sharon Lechter and Eric Swanson, and it's a whole event about connecting and networking with people. So it'll be a great training event. Now, for those of you who are ready to play big, you're ready to go on the cruise, you're ready to make some higher connections with people that have larger circles of influence, here's what I want to offer you. Roger's been so generous to offer us a gift code for that cruise. I want to make sure that you're prepared for it. So I would like to offer you some of my mentoring before the cruise. Now, my mentoring package, I have a package that's $10,000. I have some smaller packages. The package that I'm offering you is a $2,000 package. It's training with me one-on-one to develop your networking skills. This is really valuable. Like Roger was mentioning, I have people call and ask me all the time, will you please train me on networking? Can I follow you to an event and watch you network? The last trip I was on with Roger, I had 3 people there who called me just specifically asking if they could shadow me for networking. So I have a training that goes along with that. I will train you on how to make the most of your networking. A lot of the tools that Roger talked about today, we're just going to work on individualizing them to you. So it's a really valuable program. It's worth $2,000. I'm gifting that to you with your registration for the cruise. No cost. You get mentoring with me, and then you get to go on that cruise. Why? Because I want you to make the most of this opportunity. I looked at the registration list of who's on this webinar. Oh my gosh, I'm totally getting emotional. And I know that you have a powerful message to share with the world. It is my deepest desire to help you connect with people that can allow you to share that message. So if you feel like it's time for you to play big, please take advantage of this. You get a huge discount through Roger. I'm going to train you on how to network and make the most so you can get your message out to the world. So Roger will let me know who registers today. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I think I can connect them with you if you have questions for Roger. And then just for being on this webinar today, if that cruise isn't for you, if you aren't ready for that yet, I want to gift you these 2 free tickets to these events. Again, it's a value of $1,500 for both tickets. Look for an email in your email box shortly, and then get back to me and let me know which event or both of the events, if you want to attend both of the events, that you would like to attend, and I'm going to send you a free ticket to those events or a link where you can register for free. So Roger, I don't see any questions yet, but I might not be able to see that chat box. But I have one question for you, Roger.
Yes.
And here's my question for you. If there was one thing that everybody could do in this moment, right now, to help improve their networking, what would it be? You've given us tons of good tips. There's one takeaway. Leave us with this final thought.
They can do right now to improve their networking. If there's one thing that I can, is prepare better quality questions. When you go to the networking event, go prepared with these set of questions that you're going to ask, and some humorous questions too as an icebreaker. So all of these things, I think that, as I said, I'm a big believer in questions, and so questions, quality of your life is the quality of the questions you ask yourself and others on a regular basis. So I'll say if there's one thing, is ask better quality questions, which was one of the first A. I gave you 4 A's, but the first A was ask.
Okay, so I love that. Give us one example, Roger, of a humorous question you could ask, because I think that I struggle with that, and I love how you said ask those questions. Sometimes it gets so serious, and I'm like wanting to know about the person. What's an example of a funny question that you've asked?
It's a tricky one also, that you have to be present. The difference between telling a joke and being present is listening to the Tonight Show host, all of those. They don't tell jokes. So they become humorous because they observe what's going on in today's news, and they make, and so it's like, how about them Dodgers? You know, if you're meeting somebody and the Dodgers you're in LA, you know, and the Dodgers just lost, and it's like, how about them Dodgers? And they're, oh my God, you just got them going into the Dodgers. So that being present, and there are certain things. It's actually one of my mentors. He is so funny in telling jokes. It's like every word for him triggers a joke. So if there are some good one-liners and stuff, I have a good friend. He's like, you really have, people will tell you that, just like same people say, oh, I can't remember names, I can remember jokes. Hey, that's a skill. The people who remember, it's not like they are born. They actually practice in private. You know, my daughters, I've got 3 girls, and they have all these one-liners that are, I remember they would ask me, like, these are such clean jokes and stuff. Why is the river rich? She'd ask me, like, why is the river rich? And I said, I don't know, because it has 2 banks. So, and in an elevator, you're in an elevator. It's like, hey, one good line to icebreaker. Any type of, when the people gather in a small space and you're facing them, there's some, what I call, these are franchise lines, meaning that if it works once, with one group of people, it'll work over and over and over again. Tony Robbins tells those lines, at every single place that I've heard. But it works because there's new people in the audience that haven't heard it before. So you use those humorous lines. And there are, and that's one of the things that Alton, you mentioned, that if I were, if somebody said, in my reincarnation, next lifetime, I want to be a comedian at my next, because I love when people make you laugh. There are some people that come and everybody wants to be around those people who can make you laugh, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love that too. And I love, yeah, just smiling and laughing. So I love that point, Roger. Well, thank you so much for all the valuable tips you've given us today. Thank you for being who you are and willing to share your message with the world. And make sure and send me the list of the registrants and everybody that's on there. I mean, updated list. I'm going to send you out those opportunities, and I'll recap what Roger and I have talked about.
No
And
problem.
Roger, how long is that code good for?
I think this code is every month I have a different code and the price goes up from there. This is September. But let me tell you, since you mentioned that, uh, my one thing is, please don't let money stop you. Because right now, what I'm asking for is, I need to, because this cruise ship, I have zero leverage because they're gonna be sold out. So I have rooms that I have to give names to people. So if you need payment plans right now for $1,000, just make your reservation, and then I can create a payment plan for you so that as long as it's paid off before we get on, I can make it happen. Never confuse lack of resources with being resourceful. The
Oh, I
question
love
is,
that.
how can you add value to me? The cruise money is just one way for you to add value to me. The question for you is, how can I add value? If the cruise is $10,000, how can I add $10,000 worth of value, $20,000 worth of value, so that Roger will say, come on, I don't have the finances, but I have this, this, this. So if you need payment plans to make it happen, what I can promise you is that one event that people come over and over again, and David Fagan, for the last, how many, 5 years, 6 years, this is his birthday every time, and he still pushes his birthday to come here because he knows how much business he generates, how many new relationships he creates for that. And we're going to see each other again, Allison, at the in Las Vegas. So I hope that people who are on the webinar, or if you're listening to the recording afterwards, that you get Allison's kind offer. And I wanted to ask you, Allison, that can I take up on your offer of your mentoring? Can I join?
Yes, I would love to have you join, Roger.
I would love to. I see you work the room. I'm in awe. I saw you last in Beverly Hills. I want to take advantage of that mentoring. So
Oh,
send me details.
I
I
would love
definitely
to.
want to be a part of it.
We can definitely we can swap secrets and share
Yes.
stories, and I love that. And you know, it's really come down to, is people have asked me more about networking. It's just, you know, having to look within and say what is it, and it really does come down to love. So I have some key secrets, some key steps to help people. So I'd love to have you take advantage. Well, and thank you everybody for being on the webinar today. Thank you again, Roger, and look for those emails. And this is Allison signing off. Bye, guys.
Bye. God bless and Godspeed. Oh, uh, one thing, Allison, is before
Yeah.
oops, sorry, I did one thing, uh, not this. Let me share with people that if you want that quiz, networking quiz, and you want to email me so I can give you, if you want the PowerPoint slides, and send an email to roger@rogersalam.com.
Okay. And
Roger at
we'll put
rogersalam.com, and I will send you all the quiz, and I'll send you all the. I'm going to put it up on the screen so you see the email also.
and we'll make sure and put that in the email I send to people as well. So I'll stick your email address in there with your permission, Roger.
Okay, I'm going to uh, Roger at rogersalam.com, and is hold on one second. Show my screen. Oh, change up. Right. 1 second. I'm going to show you my screen. Okay. You'll be able to see my screen. All right, so there you go. You have my full information. That's my private mobile. So if you have any questions, call me. If you have any, please email me and just write down on the email PowerPoint slides and the quiz, and I will send it to you. Once again, Allison, thank you so much for the privilege.